quite interesting.
Yes, and that's the anthology of all of the books.
Yes.
And so for me, when I was different as a leader, I was different as a human, as a person, as a woman, a Black African woman. I think differently. My vision for the Virgin Islands is different. And I wish that for more young people that they have a real sense and they can do what they will with that information. And then I think there's another piece of Summer and I share something, which is that we have roots in St. Thomas. We consider ourselves Crucians. I was born as St. Christ. I beat you on that. But my roots are deep in St. Thomas, and and the political sort of like dynamic between St. Thomas and St. Croix that was elevated in his book was just really powerful for me. It was clarified a lot of things for me and for my story.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, well, folks, this is a great discussion. We said that we want you all to be there. Literally, I'm sure if the whole island show up,
no, please don't.
But I just want to reinforce what Jared is saying is that if you can have it streamed,
yes, we will try
I think that it would add greater impact. Because yes, you can record it and show it on TV, later on and so forth and so on. But it's just not the same in terms of when you get people's attention, and sometimes they never come back full circle in that context. I want to just
add one housekeeping note that there is a limited number of chairs. So we're going to ask people if you get onto Eventbrite and there's no more space. We're asking people to bring your own chairs or bring a yoga mat if we're trying to make it like a very sort of warm space. And so we will have hopefully people sitting on the floor, people sitting in chairs. If you can't get back up from the ground, then you should sit on the chair.
Right. Well, I got my umbrella chair, so I can bring that.
Or bring a chair. There's a significant amount of space, but we're actually trying to keep it manageable so that we can have an intimate gathering.
Okay, folks, just a refresh here in terms of what we're talking about. Our living history, yes, the most important conversation we could be having, keeping it alive in the minds at all ages. We're going to be having an afternoon with Mario Moorhead. This is going to be at Bethlehem Sugar Factory, Sunday, November 17th from 2 to 5 p.m. And they plan it that it's going to be an unforgettable afternoon that will explore our Virgin Islands history through a community classroom of reflection and learning. All right? It's open to the public, folks, but they want you to RSVP. All right? Like there's a limited number of chairs. They have to plan. And of course, you see that strategically it's between 2 and 5. So I ain't got lunch, but you could say, well, we're getting close to dinner time. Okay, yeah. But in any event, it is something that is historic. When you see our elders, in that sense, some of them will outlive us, and some of them won't. But we're not in the business of playing Russian roulette. We need to get them, memorialized in a way.
Correct.
Now, one of the challenges and where the videotaping really comes in handy is that our children in particular, they don't read as much as previous generations, and that's not to say that they can't read. We're in a world of technology and internet.
They're reading,
and
but they're not reading like
right. No, exactly. No, but in a traditional book way.
That's right. Exactly.
Right. So we have to definitely make sure that we capitalize on the medium. That we could at least get a teacher to be able to say, well, I want you to go and look at this and then write a paragraph or something, what you think and so forth and so on this first 15 minutes, an hour, or whatever the case may be. And so it's great that it's being recorded. We got to take a quick break. Do I have any guests out there right now? Okay, good thing. So I'm not rushing out of here in that sense. Okay, good thing. We're going to take a pause for the cause and take care of a great community-minded station, WSTX. We'll be back in a minute, folks.
We'll be back.
can I get your phone number
Yes,
so
please.
we
Sure.
could text you
It's,
and make
Oh,
sure?
okay. I know it seemed like I'm doing all
340.
kind of things. It's
No,
not disinterest. I
No,
just,
but- no. I understand.
I had
4297.
right. I had to
6
look for the poster.
4297 and your
Alright.
name
Gerard.
No problem.
That's my first name.
and your last name.
Did you see? Have you seen this?
E-V-E-L-Y.
It's a sneak peek. It's of the Outlander Theater.
And okay. So
This is
I'm
our
interested. Your phone
schematic.
is like
So you know,
braille.
that's
It'll
what's on-
vibrate. How do
Okay,
you
good.
tell the
Internet.
numbers
Okay,
then?
okay, so it's not
It's
any.
tough.
Okay.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
You-
This,
you-
this is
you're
just
not
a
hearing it
clip
because
of, like, I just wanted to show you the schematic.
Okay,
Now,
so what
if I
did
turn
you
it
do?
off
This is the
now,
back part of the parking lot
Okay.
where the sinks.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Okay,
is the back
I
part.
just
it's,
So it's the back is going to be the front of the
Okay.
theater. But yes,
Okay.
we'll be announcing that soon. So
So this is like
some
white
big
TV.
things.
That's what it's
Fantastic.
no.
called.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
big-
called
Now-
voiceover.
Okay.
What all is going to be in the theater?
It's going to be 25,000
Okay.
square feet.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be a lot of things. We haven't figured that out yet.
That's
There-
awesome.
It's basically going to be a disaster shelter. That's the first step.
Right. Well, the reason why I
Getting
asked, I'm working on a project right now with
Thank you for showing me this.
Caribbean Centers for Boys and Girls.
I know
And
it looks like I'm not doing anything on the phone.
it's
but
going
the
to
screen
be
is black.
training children into doing
Oh, boom. Okay.
everything from production
Got it.
to
So it's
directing.
all that.
What
So
happened
we,
Right.
we,
I
we
hear
have the
what's
space
going
and
on.
we're
I
asking
don't
the
need the
community
screen
to
on.
fill that
Correct.
space.
So you save your
Okay,
battery.
so space
something
going to be
like that,
available
yeah.
when?
That's smart.
No, it's
Thank
not.
you.
No, we-
I would have
we
not. I
don't-
was
we
like,
break
when I
ground
see them,
next
then
year.
you said,
So
Oh,
it doesn't-
okay,
it
okay.
doesn't-
So it's not
Is it
functionally
vibrating?
used.
I was trying
No,
to
no,
figure
no,
it out.
no.
I was
Okay,
in
okay,
I was
good
in the
thing.
phone.
You know, Neil
So
is-
thank you
Neil
for
is
educating me.
rent space
Because
in
I
our
was like,
office
well,
right
I
now,
don't
so
know.
he's there. We're going to be having some
Psychic,
community
put my man over
engagement.
there.
That's what I'm
To
telling
get
him. You
community to
know, I
sort
went
of
on
weigh in and
YouTube
let us
and
know
it said
what they
waiting
need.
for dogs.
So we have the
So,
theater designers
one of
and
the
everything
things I do
creating the
when
spaces.
when we hear
One of our challenges
is that
with,
listen
with
to the
Virgin Islands
stream
History is we need to
make sure
get youth
everything-
involved
Yeah,
in
he
trouble.
tells me if there's something wrong.
Okay,
That's awesome.
That,
That's awesome.
that project with Regina
people-
was
people like,
a
"Are you sure you
fantastic
like
project. We need more of that.
Yeah.
They generationally they will
Reason to
look
lie.
at themselves
I know, right?
rather than having an adult in a classroom with a book talking
That's
to
right.
them about history.
That's right.
You know, so we got to start putting these stories into
Yeah, I
these
go
things
to,
that they can watch.
Yeah, independent living center.
Doing homework,
When we
I
have
mean,
a
it's like,
function, so I have,
tell you firsthand, you just
I
got to
set
stay on
up
top of
my
them, stay on top of them. But
Okay.
if we could get it so that it just is
Okay.
second nature
DJ software
through the
on
things
my-
that,
Yes.
and that's where we need to go.
Well, you know what
And,
they say, repetition,
DJ
repetition,
controller.
repetition. More that we can do this and make sure
I
we
got
center
my
children
big and small
in these
speakers.
opportunities, not just because we like
That's
to go.
awesome.
I'll sit down and listen to
People-
Mario all day,
people
but
like,
how many of us bring our children to
Because you
listen to this? So
DJing.
that's
Yeah, I
will
like that.
be different.
That's exciting.
Well,
They go like-
the,
You know,
the
so
fact that you're doing this is a big thing
Even
in and
this-
of itself. And we
This
he
is my
challenged
mic.
me. He
Oh.
said nobody comes out, nobody cares about this, and I said,
Oh,
give me a
okay.
chance. Let me surprise you. So
Well,
I
let me-
hope people come
so
out to surprise
when you
you.
guys was coming in,
what I want
I
to
plugged in my
do
mic so we can
is
free
I
up
want
two mics for
to
you guys.
Oh, do you want us to leave or you want us to?
no.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right, you ready?
Mhm, go
I
ahead.
was just giving a
Here we
school
go.
in voiceover.
Yeah,
we
because
going
I was
online?
like saying using
Here we
his
go.
phone, so I'm like, how is this happening? You just said blind. So he explained to me how it works.
All right, here we go.
Okay. All right. Good thing. We talk about communication is key. Okay. And non-communication sometimes. We had. I got this call this morning. I ain't gonna call no name to protect the innocent. But I got this call this morning. Okay. And I'm so glad that I got this call this morning because now I have this opportunity for discussion and enlightenment in the community and involvement in the community here going on now. And I just want to say, folks, that here at WSTX, one, we do a community calendar and we talk about what's going on. And what I'm seeing more and more is we have things going on, but it more often than not, it's the week of something that you're hearing about it and you don't have your life planned. Right? If a non-profit youth group is out there and they're going to have a water sale, we need to know about that so we could tell people this group going to be out there and da-da-da, because people will actually walk with the money and say, hey, take the money. I don't want no single-use plastic, but take the money. I like what you're doing, and keep right on moving, as well as those who will take the water too, whatever the case may be. But the bottom line is that communication is so important. So I'm so grateful I got that call this morning that you folks could be in here for us to be having this conversation. All right. Now, folks, we're talking about our living history, an afternoon with Mario Moorhead, and it's November 17th. It's a Sunday, 2 to 5 p.m. in the afternoon. Enough time to go to church, come back from church, hopefully have your Sunday afternoon meal with family if necessary, and then come on down the road and sit down. Don't fall asleep. Sit down, and I know the food was good and everything else, but come down prepared and get something that in many respects may be a once in a lifetime type of thing for the different people, Mario being hopefully the first of many.
That's right.
That we'll hear. Now, I've had the opportunity to go to our senior centers, and one of the things I would say in terms of this video, once it's recorded, to make an opportunity to have a screening at the senior center. Okay, because the bottom line is the body ages, but very often the brain is there young and vibrant and whatever, but the opportunities, whether it be Vitran transportation or human services transportation or whatever the case may be, there are these barriers. So we have these almost forgotten people in our community. So I really would love you keep them in mind in that regard. So afterwards that we could have a screening for them. Okay?
Disabled and seniors.
So I think that you're being gracious. I think the truth is the reason why this is important is that they're not almost forgotten. We have forgotten them. And this type of activity is a remembrance. Really, like, that we call a spade, because in order for us to move forward, we have to be honest. And we're not saying it's because we're bad or it's intentional, but we're so busy living, right? We had a community before where we had more, once a day you'd stop by your father's house, you'd eat lunch with your mother, you know what I mean? You're seeing them on the weekend, you're moving. Life has moved so quickly that those traditions of being together, they aren't. So you have your parents alive, but you're so busy living your life. Sometimes on this little island, it might be a week or 2 weeks before you check in on your grandmother. Guilty, me call my grandmother for the week. She has called me 3 times, right? So I'm not pointing a finger at anybody. I'm naming what it is. We have become so good and proficient at being busy and attending to what we think survival is that there are people who we have forgotten. And we need to stop. I need to stop. So this is like a kind of like a pause moment. Like, even if you can watch it on social media, don't let that be your first plan. Let that be your backup plan, right? Let your first plan be, I want to be in person. And if you need to, call and ask.
Well, we just finished the season election, right? And Jerry can tell you,
Selection?
Jerry can tell you about the voices that count, or when we have the White Cane Safety Day, in terms of community participation. But part of the challenge, one, is making sure that the community know.
Yep.
Okay. Once they know, then you got a fighting chance that someone can carve out of their schedule that they can be there and participate. And WSTX, of course, is here to play that role, as well as all the other media. It's really critical that we realize that. Now, Facebook is great. Okay, but Facebook has its limitations, and I just want to talk about this just shortly. So for everyone who's listening, because if you didn't hear about this or see it on Facebook, that doesn't mean it's not going on, that things aren't going on that you would like to attend. So this is why radio, TV, Facebook, word of mouth, they all work together. So all non-profit organizations out there, or other organizations, you want to have an event and you want to have it be successful, and you don't want to be in your little small circle and see what we do and nobody show up. Don't put yourself in that
So
corner.
let me just be clear that we send out, so what we've done is we've sent out, we have a very long invitation list.
Yeah.
We have backed out seats for those people who are getting, got personal invitations. And then there's a limited number of seats left for community, so we are doing this, and so that was the first line of like.
Right? No, you guys are doing.
Okay,
You guys, no, you guys are doing. I'm trying to use your proof of process,
Okay.
proof of process, and
Yes.
and an example.
And
You
don't
know.
forget, though, at least 2 months out.
Well, 2 months is great, you know, and I threw that out. I don't know if you remember the one time we had Relay for Life up here in Christiansted, okay? And you know our people, they custom to Relay for Life one place, and you move it, me guy.
Yes.
And we did a promotion there over 2 months. The place was packed.
Wow.
It was packed, all right? And it's simply because they had to work on the track at the time, you know? And it makes a big difference, folks. For those of you out there listening, we want every time our young people there showing off their talent for people to see, we want the place to be jam-packed. And the way you do that is as much as possible advance notice. So, you guys are on the right track.
And you know, usually it takes us a long time to make a decision to do something like this, but when we sat with Mara, which was maybe a month and a half ago, and he said, well, don't take too long. And I remembered my aunt always saying, when old people say walk, run. And so I said, we're going to have to do this now. We don't have a lot of time. We're going to see what we can. And, you know, Percival came through. He's been wonderful at Bethlehem. Everybody. I have to name the committee. Frandel Gerard is on the committee. Dr. Chen, Ariella Hayes, Saida Carter, Shalana Brown, who else is on? My team,
Yes.
Lily Cox, Siobhan
Jacqueline.
Miles, Jacqueline Lawrence. All of us are working really, really hard. Every week we have a weekly meeting to put all the pieces together. Everybody has a little piece of the puzzle that they have
It's
to
teamwork.
put together, and we're doing it as a team. So it's not just the foundation at all, and I want to be really clear about that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're taking the time out to do that. That dangerous thing you're doing, calling name, can you just forget
No,
one?
No, man, we catch everybody.
You catch everybody.
We catch everybody.
Good thing.
And I think the thing that it is that when we work together collaboratively, that's another thing that, you know, in that spirit of the collective. You know, I remember when Mario did the Indongo Collective, and they would go, it was an election year, not this cycle, the last one. And just that collective action of that communal action, and they would go from community to community, and you'd hear them because he'd say Indongo and they'd all scream out collective, right? So in our own way, right, this is our collective action to also show, like, we hear you and we understand the spirit of the work that you seek to be birthed in our community, and we believe that works. As nonprofits, we're a consortium, but in this event we're also embodying like a collective action, coming together to achieve something that singularly maybe we could do, but together we understand it's going to be a greater effect, not just for him but for our organizations, right? Like, so yeah, so it's pretty special.
Yeah.
Right, in many ways.
And everybody comes to every meeting. Like, we never, like, it's been really amazing that even there in the evening after we've all had a long day, everyone is coming in, and even just our prompts, our discussants that we invited, Zuma and Akeem and Richard, all of them said yes, and we're working collectively to make this a really special event.
You know who we did not call? Miss Hobson. I was like, Miss Hobson.
When you said that, I said, I will be the one. You know what? I'm glad, because she needs to stand above Charmaine. Hobson is one of the most special members of our Kids Count team. She is the one who identified the space. She is the one who's making the connection with the Bureau of Corrections. She is someone who's been on our board. She's a very dear friend of mine, and so yes, You have allowed us to now have special mention, give her special mention and acknowledgement for the role that she's played in this. And so,
All right.
yeah.
I got this
I know.
one time.
I know.
for
It
not calling
happens all the
one-
time, and then when you I should have written it down.
I
and
think
they-
she would
Best
have
of
been happy
intentions.
to. I think she would have been happy to be a quiet member. In the
Yeah,
background.
but-
no, but she can't because she's so special.
Right,
Exactly.
right, yeah.
You know,
I hear
as
it.
I sit here, I just want to mention, parents, when you bring your kids out to things, your 14-year-olds who don't want to come, you know, what memory is coming up for me? Being 14 and at a quadrille at your dad's house in the
Okay.
yard. We're actually sleeping until the potato salad come out because my mother's like, we are going to quadrille, right? And that's a fond memory. At the time, I was like, man, mommy, I don't want to go. It was right up there, right on the hill.
Right on the hill, and I have a few pictures that I've been searching for to find and got them electronic. And one of the people he had some, because you know, once he got into politics, and he had some fashion show up there. And one of the people who were there struggling and stuff was Miss Fred. Remember Miss Fred? I don't know if you remember her. But anyhow, she would have
remember Miss
majorettes
Fred.
and stuff in it. Huh?
I don't remember Miss Ray.
Okay, well, a lot of people don't because things like what we're doing here
Is
haven't been done about the Miss Fred. So sometimes what we is the same way we get people together, we need to get people together to talk about those people we knew, compile all the pictures, and so we have the slideshow going while the conversation going on, because the bottom line, when you see Miss Fred and her uniform and her cane going on the road, and it's like, and the major, I'm sure somebody have pictures, but we have to start doing this kind of clawing back our history by doing exactly what you're doing, which is getting groups of people together. And now it's great that everybody is participating in a way that everybody's always there. That's great. But I want to say that we broaden the circle in the sense that some people may not be literally able to do that,
Correct.
but willing to make that contribution, and in any way that we can pull them in. And we talking about Miss Fred, you know, anybody out there got pictures of Miss Fred, well, you're at it, you know, I mean, we want people to know who Miss Fred be, so to speak. And there are all of these different opportunities. There are all these different opportunities to kind of catch parts of our history. Now, it's so funny because I was well, anyhow, let me come back to what we're talking about here in particular. Our living history, an afternoon with Mario Moorhead, and it's November 17th, a Sunday, from 2 to 5 p.m. in the afternoon at the Bethlehem Sugar Factory, folks. All right. And we're getting this out now. We're going to be talking about this every time we have our community calendar discussion here. So it's like it's going to continue to resonate. I tell people, mark your calendar, mark it up again, and by the time thing come, you're going to see that black spot. You can't miss it, or you're going to be so in a trance that you're going to just go take yourself there without, you know, any...
I could miss it.
You can miss it? You might not see it, but you ain't gonna miss it. Okay, I'm just gonna grab something over here while we're talking. Here.
You go back and forth.
Well, the other thing that I really want to take a minute to connect this to, right? I just brought up a memory that I had that at 46 years old, 14 to 46, that was a mark, right? It made an imprint. And so just encouraging your parents, hey, bring out your 14-year-old. You never know what is going to make an imprint, or when they reflect in their adult lives, what a turning point will be, or a memory that actually was quite joyful. And I want to tie this to the work of the St. Croix Foundation in terms of the kids count, right, that is going to be released. Because the age 14 isn't random. it isn't, when Diana mentioned opportunity youth and preparing youth, we have data through their work, and I attended the Kids Count summit last year, and I attended every year online, but we have data that shows that this is a critical age, right? And so I just wanted to lean in to say, like, when we said 14 plus, it wasn't because we're just like, okay, what's that age where children could behave. That's not what we were saying. It's like, what is an age that we know is critical to be impacted by the wealth of information that Mario can offer, right? Where this can mean something to you. That seed planting she's talking about is planting a seed in our young people that we know have vulnerabilities because of the lack of infrastructure in our community, things that we need. So again, none of this is random, right? Even though it's from 2 to 5, it is a short period, but it is designed to curate, hopefully, something meaningful for those 14-year-olds that at 47, 46, 50, they could be on the radio talking about the moment they saw Mario Moorhead, and they could, like how you remembering Miss Fret, they could remember, my son, remember that one time I used to hear you on the radio, but at one time we tried. That's the spirit of this, is honoring him, collecting our history, but hopefully a small spark that you 14-year-old don't even know that they're there, that they can recount at 45.
Exactly. And this thing about would you like to come? No, don't answer. Just bring them. Just bring them. I saw this young man. His auntie wanted to take him to a play, and he did everything short. A tree himself down on the ground, said, "I want to go." Okay, and then and he went, and afterward he come back. Daddy, I apologize. This was so interesting. I might even want to learn how to do that. And I'm like, do I know you? Folks, you got to understand that children are just that. They don't know nothing about nothing, and how they going to learn is through exposure. This is why you take them. When I went to Denmark with Stanley then, and my son came along, and I gonna tell you, if I were trying to get him to go to Quadrille or to see Mokochombi or to do this, that, and the other, it'd have been like boring, But by living that experience, it totally changed him and how he interacts in terms of his own culture and everything and so forth and so on. Well, everybody can't go to Denmark, but they could go down the road. You could escort your children down and sit down and watch them take in something, and you didn't even know they're taking it in. The same way how the children, when they were playing with computers and playing games and all this other stuff, turned out to be engineers and big names in the computer business and other areas of expertise. They're taking it in. Same too with culture. Okay? Same too with history. We got to give them those opportunities.
And I just want to say that people, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but we're trying to start on time. So that's really important. And we have a set of time that we want to make sure we give Mario the opportunity to speak.
You recording it? You start on time.
We'll start. So I want people to know there's not crucial time.
Not crucial time.
It's crucial time. We're doing it New York time.
That's right.
So y'all here, they start in New York time.
Please get there on time.
So be on time.
All right. Well,
Otherwise, you snooze, you lose.
Yeah.
That's right. I appreciate this time. This is a really special event, and like I've said from the beginning, we are all very privileged. This is an honor that we get to do this. It's not work.
Good thing. All right. Well, I am so glad the communication came late or early that it came. We could be having this discussion here today. All right. And I thank you for being able to move on it in the way that you did and to share with us. And we'll be talking about it for, every show. That's part of our community calendar of upcoming things. Okay.
Thank you so much.
And yes, St. Croix Foundation, folks, you know, we drive through what we call Times Square, other people call Sunday Market Square, you know, if you want to be politically correct and all this other good stuff. The bottom line is plenty of history has been made there, plenty of history is still being made there. And keep your eyes open because good things are happening, all right? Good things are happening.
We're working. I know people don't believe it, but we're working and there's some big things afoot.
Oh,
so.
well, you know,
Yes.
We'll be back then.
Yeah,
Well,
you
know-
guys are in the old Alexander Theater building.
We're next to it. Yeah, we're right now. We're in the old Chase Bank building.
That was the old Chase Bank. Chase
And-
Bank used to be there?
Yeah, Chase Bank was in the green building, and then the Alexander Theater actually it's behind us. It actually it sits behind our building.
Okay.
So yes, and we are getting ready to do some big things there, and not only there but across the street. So stay
Wow.
tuned for that.
Fantastic. You
Yeah.
know, Alexander Theater has a lot of history
Yes.
for many that's slipping away. We need to have a conversation about
We will.
Alexander Theater.
We will. We will.
Reminiscing and going
Yes.
back and everything.
We will.
And how this movie was coming. I got to go and say, can I hear they go kiss?
That is so.
You want to hear the
Now they're
funniest
doing a whole lot more than
Yeah.
kiss.
You want to hear the funniest thing? Right on the corner was a stoplight.
Mm.
A lot of people don't remember.
A lot of people don't even know.
A lot of people don't know. There was
Wow.
a stoplight right there, right on the corner. Where you would go up to the boys club, and turn to
Yeah, I remember that. By
there was a stoplight right there.
Albert Sheen and
Yeah.
Winston Hodges' office. That we own that building also. So
Babies are being born, they're going to think the bypass was always there.
But so that
That is
is
true.
that's more. But that I think is more work. I know we're leaving, but that is more work for a project like our Living History. Think about the renovations to Altoona Lagoon. Think about the changes that will happen in Christian Step Town. Think about the bypass. They have people who don't know that when the highway used to stop,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
by East Airport Road.
Yeah.
Correct. And so I think even those stories are helpful to help people understand how our landscape has transformed in a 20 to 50 year period because they won't and don't know. I was just saying the young lady who planted all of those trees.
Miss Ocasio,
Yeah, Susanna Ocasio. I remember when she used to go every day and they were in little plastic things and her granddaughter Kenya used to be like, oh, I gotta take my grandmother to Lagoon. And now today to see that there's a forest there that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember when she was planting that.
Well, all of this is inspiration because your group of people, your organizations are just a drop in the bucket for what we need. So this discussion hopefully is inspiration for those other people who can step out and say, okay, I'm going to be another link in the chain and this is what we're covering, you know, so forth and so on, and communicate because that's how it has to happen. There's no...
And I think part of what's beautiful about the way we work is that we have grown so accustomed to government solving all of our problems, and I get to, you know, Summer gets to sit in a space where we see another sector that's doing big work, important work, collaborative work. We're trying to, you know, I always say everything is connected to everything, and really trying to connect the dots between the work that we're doing and the work that all of our partners are doing, so that there's this real holistic resources that we are creating for our community. And so I feel very, very, very blessed to be sitting where we sit, and while we have a lot of problems in our territory, there's a lot of great things happening as well.
Well, there's a lot of empowerment to be achieved through our community outside of government, and we have to somehow wean ourselves off of that thinking. I know it's difficult. I know it's something that's going to be generational in the effort that it's going to take, but we've got to do this because we got our sister islands and they got their own thing and they're looking out for. And my thing is, if you're looking in your neighbor house and yard and everything else, at the time that you taking looking is the time you should have been walking and your own. And this is it. So it's an ongoing challenge, like the talk show. We try here to talk about positive things happening in the community, but you know, talk shows have a history, so to speak, of everybody could tell you everything that run, Well, folks, there's a whole lot right and a whole lot good and a whole lot that could be a lot better, but we got to change our focus so what we don't like to what we want to like.
That's right.
Well, my take on what you just said there, dog, is I don't mind you telling me what's wrong, but when you finish, give me a solution to
That's
this.
right.
No, more than that. No. You send your requirements too low.
Give me a solution to
Not just a solution. How they gonna be part of it?
Well, yeah, that's part
Okay,
of it.
how they gonna be part of it?
That's part
You
of
know,
it too,
when
but at
we
least.
talk about the trash on the beach and say, okay, let we go do it, and we turn out to be 5 people that show up, and when it was 50, 60 people having this conversation. All right, we have to live it. We have to be the change we want to see. We have to live it, and that's how we make the change.
But I have to say, you know, I St. Croix has a special je ne sais quoi about, like, I think how we show up. And I know that we spend a lot of time looking at other places, other islands, and how they're developing. And I always say, and as much as I am frustrated, that the lack of development actually gives us almost a cleaner slate
Yeah.
to do it better, to do it different. And I think that if we center, you know, the natural resources of this place, our people, our environment, at the, you know, as the foundation for how we develop, we can't lose. We can't lose. And I just, you know, I feel very strongly about that. I feel like we are building from the ground up in places, you know, other places have built over their natural environment and can't go back. And we have so much potential here on St. Croix that, you know, I hope that we know how to harness, we learn how to harness that potential and
Yeah.
not keep looking
Before we get
outside of
grown over,
ourselves.
we need to harness and get
You want
moving.
people to show up? How you gotta do put that you have free refreshment?
There might be some refreshment.
Okay.
I don't want to make
No.
promises, but
No,
there
no,
might
no,
be.
I'm just saying in general.
In general,
Okay,
in general.
okay.
Our people,
not
our
to,
people.
Oh,
not to the
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
I'm just saying in general. You want people to show up to something you're keeping?
Feed them.
Just tell them free food.
Yeah.
Guarantee.
Well, we gotta get
They're
away
gonna be
from that
standing room only.
because
Okay? Guarantee, because people coming for that. There's a saying they like to say, honor the 11th commandment. Never miss a free.
Not never miss our freebs, but I just
Okay.
want to highlight what Dougie was saying though is right. In order for us to achieve the things we want, as we recognize them, we have two things: action and accountability. So if you're not willing to take action on your own word of the thing you think needs to be fixed, who is coming to be there with you? Because a lot of people want to be the boss and say, you over there go fix that because it's a problem. And he's saying if you're not showing up in the solution that you propose, then you're not actually accountable to your word. And so there is like this piece of integrity that threads through everything, that if Summer says that food is important and she's the good food lady, but she ain't shopping at the farmer's market, but she ain't eating local, right? This cognitive dissonance, because it's the old adage, right? Do as I say, don't do as I do. And we actually need to do as we say. The person itself needs to do as they say. So the accountability and action piece is important. Very community, right? We can't say we love our elders' history and culture and don't show up to an event like this. We can't say Chiran is important but don't go to PTA meetings or worry about the curriculum, the VA history curriculum, right? We can't say we love the beach and the environment and our island special and then throw litter out the window. Like it's that behavioral action and accountability piece that I feel like we are also calling up, because it does exist, but we need more people to just be like, let me examine myself. How am I being accountable to the things that I say are important to me as a Virgin Islander?
Enough instances working with children, and they just throw down thing, and I'm saying, how did you learn this? I know how you learned it, because you were shown it. You were shown that it's the norm and accepted. Somehow we got to get. Most people don't seem to understand that there is a cycle with the people who make money, like the people who do bottling. You know, I'm really looking to see the day when the folks in this government gonna put their foot down in terms of plastic, because we have become a dumping ground. and then being called nasty, because before we had bottles were redeemable for some small portion of money, and you can't find those bottles today. They're all gone.
It's plastic.
They're all gone.
And yeah, but even the plastic. I mean, in New York, what we would gather all the drinking bottles, right? Put them in big plastic bags and stuff. When we go back to the store, stick them in this machine. Boom, 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 boom. And then we get paid for it. And we use that same money to go and buy more water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
well,
Yeah.
see, that's
You know, I have
the model we gotta get back.
I have a colleague who grew up in the Pacific, and she was saying that that when people come to the town, that they're amazed at how little litter there is anywhere. And she said that they made a decision that their environment was important to them, and that litter was going to be a non-negotiable. And they had a zero tolerance, policies that went into place, including, I think she said, close to like a $1,500 to $3,000 fine for littering.
I think we have 1,000 here.
And she said in the space of just like a couple of months, it was no longer a problem. Because you hit people where it mattered.
In your pocket.
In your pocket. And you established a value. That was a value. This is a value that we have as a community, and we're going to actually enforce it at a high level. And I think that a lot of the problems that we have is just we haven't decided that is a core value of ours, and we haven't committed to enforcement. And those are, and because it's not if we value the things we value, we do really well. I could tell you that when we value something, we do it very, very well. And the things that we don't value, if it gets done, it gets done. If it doesn't get done, if people break the law,
If it breaks, it breaks.
It breaks, it breaks. And so I think there is a value component to this, and that we haven't interrogated or excavated as a society, and so though that work has to be done.
That is amazing. We could go on. I went away. This won't be my last comment because I have a meeting at 10. But I went away to a environmental justice meeting, and the one lady from Puerto Rico, she said until we find a way to monetize the environmental services that we live by, like air is a service that the environment provides. Water is a service that the environment provides, and we need those things to live. But because they're intangible, right, and so accessible, we add no value to them. But they're actually the most valuable thing because you can't live without it. It's the same with culture. So when you said monetizing the littering, you hit them in the pocket. These things are our identity quotient has not been put a value on, and we live in a nation and a world where everything is how much does it cost. But there's an invisible set of economics that as a community we haven't taken the time to think about and talk about, and that is what we should be encouraging. I don't want to be political, but our leaders should have some sight on the intangible value, because even if we want to remain a tourist place, right, great, our environment and our culture are the quotient by which the value of that tourism product is going to be defined. But so if we keep erasing clean air, clean water, cultural norms, Crucian or Virgin Islands identity, then we whitewash our product so much that there's no reason for it to be special and for people to visit our shores. So we do have to monetize it for our leaders, for business partners, and even for our young people who are looking to achieve a quality of life that they relate to wealth, because monetary wealth is such a large conversation. We have to now begin to talk to them, like you say, in the TikToks and the social medias, but in a value that they can understand, where access to trees, access to the beach, where you don't have to, all of those things, right, that we could park up and just go to the beach, all of those things, if we were relating it to a monetary value, right, this is what it would be, because you really are living your best life. And that's not what we're doing, right? We keep disappearing it.
the
I
thing.
say one thing. Listen.
Go ahead.
You said our leaders don't have sight. They have sight. They don't have vision.
Are we done now? No,
Yeah, we're done, but you know, we just having these little things that everybody can just chicken.
I'm
See,
because I don't have sight,
Yeah.
but
We
I
have
have
A
vision.
vision.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
In
I
real.
don't have anything to top that. That is.
I mean, that was Jobs' mic. True.
And the thing is, where do leaders come from? They come from the community.
From us.
There are.
So we have that base level. There are a lot of things that are happening because the community tolerates it, and in that sense, and so that's part of what we have to be working toward. How we change the values in the community.
And consciousness, you know,
And,
Mario
right.
talks about the computer, the programming that informs the consciousness, that informs the vision.
Right.
And if we don't have that, you don't go back and you don't start there, then you get what you
Well,
get.
let me just throw this out and for the record, you mentioned trees, right? And you know, you see the trees cut, the trees cut, the trees cut. You know, all of you freshly elected, and I need you to run down there and put in a bill request so it could be yours. That going to, first of all, provide resources to the agency that's responsible for safeguarding these trees. Number one. And for also giving permission to cut them, and have set the system up so that they can also designate, well, for this one tree you have to plant 3
That's
in
right.
designated areas
Absolutely.
that we approve.
That's right.
Listen.
Okay? Because it take 200 years for that mahogany tree, 300 years for that mahogany tree to be with pipe bin. No, it can't. It never coming back like that in our lifetime. But we,
Trees are a privilege now.
Yeah.
It's so hot. Trees are a privilege.
but I'm just saying, we have to put the mechanisms
Yes.
in place. And since we mentioned government, I'm
It's not
saying
difficult.
we have to think in terms of solutions. So I'm throwing that out there and saying, folks, there's a formula here. We could do it. It doesn't
Yes.
mean burdening any particular part of the community. It just has to make them part of the community, especially with the businesses that can make that type of contribution in the community, and all they could do is cut down the tree. You know, that don't make any sense, because I don't care how much water you give to somebody thing, how much juice you give to somebody thing, come in a plastic bottle that we have to process and whatever in a landfill that can process it, and you don't cut down the trees.
True cost
Anyhow.
accounting. You
Yeah.
know, but this has been so pleasant. I'm sorry I have to go. I have a meeting at 10.
Well, I know.
But I really enjoyed myself.
Like I said.
I'm the person still talking. So,
I'm so glad we got that call. Anyhow, with that, I'm going to let her go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Open up the lock so that the keys are open, the chains are off. You go, God, no.
Gentlemen, have a wonderful day.
Do the
And Mr.
same.
Evelyn, somebody will be in touch.
Yeah, someone's going to be in touch with you.
All right.
All right,
Okay,
then.
good
Take care.
thing. Safe on the road. All right. Well, it's been a very interesting day.
Now,
You know,
before you
we-
let's do some housekeeping.
We got a lot of housekeeping to do.
To our viewers online, good morning from myself and Mr. Canton. Sorry, we had our guest in the studio and we was not checking our Facebook.
Right.
So good morning, good morning, good morning. We're happy to have you listening.
Okay, that's one thing. Okay, and of course, you know, I am doing.
Doing what?
I want to say my best. Okay, that people are going to. Wait, let me. What I just do here. Okay. That's not what I wanted.
Oh, what are you figuring it out?
No. It's important because I am doing my best to make sure that we create a brand for you, or we reinforce your brand. Okay. Yes, and I must say that the folks at VIU said have done a good job of helping you to promote your brand in terms of what you do there. All right, and at the same time too, me personally, I got my personal commitment to seeing, not as a person with a disability now, just personal commitment. Yes, I won't reinforce what my disability is.
Oh,
okay.
wait.
All right, but be quiet for a moment.
Do you or someone you know have combined hearing and vision loss? ICANN Connect is a national program that provides free training and communication equipment, including smartphones and computers, to individuals with significant combined hearing and vision loss. Meet income guidelines. Call 340-692-4267. That's 340-692-4267 to learn more about the program's guidelines, refer someone you know, or to apply for the program.
All right, so that's just as necessary. That's as necessary as making sure that people hear the fact that they need to do a random act of kindness, and that when they're feeling bored, they need to just break down and do some premeditated ones also in the process. Okay, so we got about 10 minutes left in our opportunity to do some things here, and I just would like to take a quick minute to just kind of speed through some of what's on the community calendar here. All right, now it's got so much going on, Jared, but I just want to remind people the 175th Emancipation Celebration Committee has something going on where they're reaching out to students to engage in art, okay, and that art can be to do on a theme, what is a Virgin Island. They can create a Quelbe from scratch. They can submit a 500-word about your favorite VI legend. They can create a poem on diaspora. They call me Carrie So. Okay? Yes, so I just wanted to remind people that that's out there going on. Also, we've got Throw Cancer Overboard fundraiser that's been rescheduled now. Okay. Nice. Anyhow, we got the November here coming up, the 7th. This was rescheduled. Throw Cancer Overboard, a fundraiser for VI Breast Cancer Project. That's this afternoon over there at Mutiny Island Vodka. And folks, we gotta show up in the fight against cancer, so I might invite you to come on out and be part of the solution, part of the fight, part of the camaraderie, part of the support. Okay? Now, I just got this, and I see here coming up on the 9th, we've got the 3rd annual Fitness Futures Food Truck Festival and Family Fundraiser. Okay, this is going on over there by the beer. Oh Lordy be, I got so sidetracked with this here. Anyhow, let's make this a little bit larger so it can fit. This year they're having, in addition to the fun-filled activities and the food truck and everything else, they're having a Lion Haven's annual 1.K run to help in their fundraising mission. And I'm just trying to get the word out here that Wendy Keeler is saying, hey, there's still opportunity if you want to sign up for your food truck or vendors or artists and crafts. All right, this is all going to be going on at Leatherback Brewing Company out there on just off of the Melvin Evans Highway in the
Industrial Park?
Hmm?
Industrial park.
in the industrial park, okay? And that's coming up on the 9th. So I saw it, and it's something I hadn't seen before, so I just wanted to share and make sure everybody knows about it. Veterans Day, they're going to have a 10K run that's going to be held also on Saturday the 9th at 6:30, and this is a serious run they got going through town and then all the way out East End and back. Okay, so yep, literally all the way out East End and back. So they're going to start at Fort Christian, right here in Christiansted, or Fort Christian Run in Christiansted, and of course that's a early morning move. It's starting at 6:30 in the morning, which means you need to be there at least an hour, half an hour before that, warming up, getting ready to go on this run if you're going to do the run. Okay. I want to remind you about the fall festival that the Lady Rovers is going to be having. Yep. Okay, and that's going to be at the Bethlehem Soccer Field. Support our youth in their fundraising in support of their team and sports. Yes, that's the 16th, and it's going to be from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Bethlehem Soccer Field. Okay. Now, Crucian Coconut Festival is right around the corner. All right, so just keep your eyes and ears open. Mark your calendar, because they're going to have a fantastic exhibit on November 29th. Yes, right there at the Sugar Factory. Okay. Winter Wonderland. I see that the folks at Central High School are trying to raise some funds here in support of, yes, the class of 2025, giving back to the community, right? And they want you to join them for a night of great deals and entertainment at their Winter Wonderland dinner and auction fundraiser for the Central High School class of 2025. Tickets can be purchased at the St. Croix Central High School. Yep, and we'll be talking about this more as we go. So just trying to hit these things last. And of course, in December, we have the St. Croix Callaloo and Seafood Festival coming up. Keep that on your mind. And then also in December, we have the 3rd Annual Golf Tournament 2024. Yes, that's December 15th at the Buccaneer Golf Club. All right? And that's it for just a quick run through for the things that I've gotten about the community calendar and what's going on in our community, things that you might want to attend and be involved in. Right, it's been a pleasure being with you all here today.
So you're coming to watch me play golf?
Most definitely. I will just make sure that I stay out of the way. Of the club and the balls. All right, good thing. So yeah, it's been a very eventful day in terms of this call this morning and being able to have these folks from St. Croix Foundation and this special group that they've put together in support of doing this Our Living History afternoon with Mario Moorhead coming up on November 17th. Yes, okay. Well, Jerry, it's that time. Okay. Any words of wisdom for the community before we head out of here?
Just remember to do a random act
of kindness.
No, random act.
Of kindness. I ain't letting you get around with that.
Remember to do a random act.
Okay. All right, folks.
And if you're feeling mischievous, do a random act of kindness.
All right, folks. Until next time, WSTX Reflections. We'll see you here again. Okay. Oh, man. Okay, let me get out of the way here so the next folks can come in here and do their thing in a timely manner. All right. Stop my computer.